right, Headkrack After Hours, man. And as this quarantine still rages on, man, people are trying to figure out ways to spice up their life, even if there was no quarantine. You know, you've been doing the same thing for a while, and you're trying to add some spark in your relationship. And I got a guy here who does just that. He goes by the name of Stephen Smith, the sexologist and pleasure coach. It's an ill name, yo. I like it. What's going on, Stephen?
Man, what's up? How you feeling?
I'm great, bro. All things considered, it's good to be alive. You're doing blessed things. You're having fun. You know what I mean? So, I take it for what it is. Now,
I agree.
you have an ill title, sexologist and pleasure coach. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I'm sure that makes a lot of people lean in and be like, tell me more.
Exactly. Everywhere I go.
Tell me more. Like,
Okay, I'm gonna tell you
what's
more.
all in the name?
So, sexologist, I studied the human sexuality. So, I studied the human sexual behavior, sexual tendencies, sexual requirements, sexual desires, etc. Pleasure coach is the fun part. Pleasure coach is a self-created name that I wanted to separate myself from other sexologists, as in, I want you to have fun. I want you to embrace sex. I want you to enjoy sex. And I want you to look at sex in a very positive light rather than so many negative ways that people throw it out there.
Well, a lot of times within sex, there's the mental and there's the physical. And sometimes the mental can block the physical. What are some of the most, what are some of like the things that you encounter the most with a lot of couples that, come and seek you out?
The thing that I encounter the most is actually communication and past trauma that they haven't healed from. And so most people think when they come to a sexologist, we just talking about positions, we talking about toys, we're talking about different ways to really spice up the relationship. But really, most people come to figure out how to communicate their wants and their needs, how to communicate their desires, how to get their other person to be non-judgmental when they express, I want to do this, but I want to do it with you. Is that cool? They don't know how to have that conversation. So a lot of people encounter miscommunication.
Okay, now how do you break down those barriers and get people to be comfortable? Because, even like, people who live to be 50, 60, there's still a lot of unexplored territory. And sometimes people are stuck in their ways. So, what do you do to help break down some of those walls that people maybe throw up?
Okay, so for me, since I teach my rated red sex, which is my genre sex that I enjoy teaching out of, I utilize restraints and blindfolds. A lot of people think of those things as very kinky, or they attach it to BDSM, or something that's leather or something like that. But for me, a blindfold can change how a person communicates in interact in a trusting way. So if I utilize a blindfold and I say, well, take his hand or take her hands, and you lead her from the kitchen to the bedroom, only using your voice. Don't touch her with your hands. Only communicate with her using your voice. And then that rebuilds the trust if trust was ever broken, or if you want to heighten that area of your life. Restraints is a big thing for trust as well, because a person don't like to give up that power, that transition of power, especially for men. And so if you use those restraints, it doesn't always have to be sexual. And so you utilize those restraints to rebuild the trust. After I put one hand in the handcuff, I'm going to start kissing you on your neck. I'm going to pick places that I know you love. So I'm going to pick your safe places that I know turns you on. I know get you in that mood. I know makes you feel good. So once I put one on, I'm going to do everything in my power to please you, hitting the spots that you like. And then I'm going to put the other handcuff on, and I'm going to continue to do things you like, but add one or two new things in there to kind of spice it up.
So, how early in a relationship can you start working these things in? Because let's just say, like, if you're in a relationship and maybe you're advanced, AP level, sexual exploration, and you're a little bit further down the road and you get with somebody who is kind of not necessarily on that same speed, how can you get them up to where you are so you don't have to accrue so many years in training that person to be into the things you're into?
The cool thing I do with that with people who are more advanced than others is I make him or her, whoever the advanced person is, listen more. Just because we are more advanced in certain positions, controlling our orgasms, pleasing somebody, it doesn't mean that we don't have an area that we need to learn and perfect. And so your partner's version of great sex may be polar opposite to your version of great sex. Your great sex is based off of everybody you've had sex with in your past and
Right.
what they've told you. And so for them, I'm gonna tell them, listen, I want you to have Tuesday be your day, to where I call it Taste Me Tuesday. Taste Me Tuesday, you do everything in your power to please her. And on Throat Me Thursday, you do everything in your power to please him. So y'all can understand y'all sexual balance within each other. versus then engaging into your past.
Those are two hashtags I need to see more of on social media. I'm just saying, like
You
Taste
feel
Tuesday,
me?
Throw Me Thursday. That needs to be a thing. Like, for real. Like,
It does.
I'd buy the shirt and the hat. Just saying. So and that's a great place to start. You know what I mean? And and then you still have some people who maybe like certain things trigger like repressed memories that they had, that they have, like you said before, like maybe somebody was in an abusive relationship and like the idea of being restrained, that's kind of like off limits.
Yes.
What are some other workarounds that people could try, just to kind of be a little bit more adventurous and not trigger people who maybe are dealing with some issues from the past?
Initially, I always start with that conversation. You have to learn your partner. When I mean learn and love your partner, you have to learn and love everything about their past that made them who they are, especially their sexual history and their sexual traumas. But you don't always have to use items that can trigger people, like handcuffs may be a trigger, blindfolds, a leather restraint. We have things in our house that we can utilize that are safe, that we use every single day. I can just say, close your eyes and don't open them, which means this is a follow instruction, give direction, aggressive type of thing. It teach a passive man to be an aggressive man. Close your eyes, don't open them. If you open them, this is the consequence, which is something pleasurable. And then you can use a mirror. Stay in front of the mirror, and then I'm going to do certain things to you. And then when I tell you to open your eyes, open them. And then have some sort of surprise or some sort of reward there for him or her doing the following your requests, following your commands or demands, and you build from there. It's very safe. It's things you use in your house. It's things you walk past every single day. You can use a necktie, mirrors. You can use
Shoot,
little
saran
ties. You know,
wrap, just wrap the saran wrap tight, old bandana. I mean, like,
anything.
shoestring, old school braided belt. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, like whatever, whatever's
Communication is the
clever.
key.
Indeed,
Long as you
indeed.
have that level of, I'm going to request this, you're going to do this, the result's going to be this, let's try it. It's all about open-mindedness and providing safety.
Okay.
And you can
Now,
heal from their past easily.
a lot of times, guys, definitely like enter in the game with a I do the dirt all by my lonely kind of mentality. Like, yo, what are these extra contraptions that you pulling out? Break down the myth that, a woman breaking out toys isn't necessarily a sign of dissatisfaction with you, but it's just like, hey, it's tools to get the job done. Because like also in reverse, not even talking about entry on fellas, but
Mhm.
there's toys that women can use on dudes that also can like rock as well. So dive into that a little bit.
Okay, my theory is I have my own pleasure bag that I bring with me. I have my own set of toys. Fellas, I recommend you have your own set of toys. Because think of it this way: a dildo can make a woman come, but a woman cannot make a dildo come. That is your partner in crime. That is your helper. They are designed to please a woman in a certain way. Some of us are adequate for the job, and some of us are inadequate of performing certain things sexually. And toys are there to help you provide her with satisfaction. Your job is to give her great sex by any means necessary. And
Mm-hmm.
why not have fun together by utilizing these toys? If you use a magic wand vibrator and she has a squirting orgasm, the toy didn't give her the orgasm, you did. And then you get to go in after and knock her out with the D. Toys are
True.
your best friend
Oh.
You
because
know,
she get to come 4 or 5 times and you still haven't bust not one.
Yeah. Some people are really stuck in their ways and they don't need like co-producers, but like, nah, I produced the whole track. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you want to be able to say they did the whole work. But yeah, that is you being creative because like also too, if you're not doing the right thing and you're not stimulating her mind in a certain way, it's not going to happen no matter what kind of toy or tool you're using, or even if you are working with something that gets the job done, usually, there's so many levels and factors that go into that. Now, when you talk about introducing toys,
Hmm.
how do you know when is a safe time within a new relationship to even
Ooh.
work that in? Because you talk about you got your own bag of toys. Like you can't just show up to a chick house with that, on a second date. Like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, chicks be having questions. Who else you use that on? All that.
Yeah, they do most definitely would have them questions. For me, the bonus is that they know I'm a sexologist, so they expect toys to be there anyway. But for everybody else, um, that have to be a conversation. You have to be so comfortable with what you require sexually that you can express it to someone without fear of being judged. I don't think you can break it out on the second date unless you present it a certain way. If you present it in a way that's going to guarantee her pleasure, most women are down for it. I mean, most women love it. And another thing that men have to think about, and I'm just talking to the men for right now, is if you watch a 59 Shades of Grey or whatever it's called,
Bruh.
60
Yeah.
Shades of Grey, 50 Shades of Grey, whatever it's called, you
Either way, I
watch
heard the
that
book
movie
is
with your
better.
girl. The book is way better. Even
That's
if
what I
you
heard.
read the book or you watch your woman read the book, you can look at certain scenes in the movie and you watch her reaction to it, and that gives you an idea of what you can do with her because it's something that you can tell she enjoys. And so, if you're doing a first date, you have to be strategic. Watch a movie that has some type of scene in there so you can watch her reaction. Your job is to not watch the movie. Your job is to watch her reaction so you understand you kind of like that. You would, and then that opens that door for that conversation. What you think about that scene when he tied her up? Me, boy, you crazy. You ain't tying me up no time soon. Well, when would you allow somebody to? You gotta open that door for that safe conversation to understand. And then she might ask you, you into stuff like that? Would you ever? And you like, well, I dabble a little. You kind of open that door. You have to be strategic when opening these doors to conversation because it's very uncomfortable for some people.
Got you. Now we have come a long way as it relates to pornography in mass culture, right? Back in the
Yeah.
days, the tapes used to come in like some shit that would be the size of a cereal box, and and like especially if you were sneaking and watching your parents' stuff, you'd have to cue it back up to where it was on the VCR.
Yep.
Now the access is heavy. You don't have to be as sneaky with it, but every now and then people maybe find your stash or that mysterious file that you have on your desktop that has all the joints in it, right? And then they'll be
Yep.
like, hey, none of these people look like me. How do you explain that to them in a way where they understand, like, hey, it's not necessarily that, you're looking at, you look, because like some people just like to watch beautiful people do it,
Yes.
and then some people are insecure and think, oh, this is what you're into and it's none of it resembles me. Like I hear that conversation come up a lot.
I do too. Because it's this insecurity that, especially for men, or it's for both, honestly. Like
Mhm.
his size is way bigger. You like, well, that's what you really want. Is that insecurity that has to be secure within a relationship. And so that conversation have to be between them two and them expressing to each other, this is what I really desire. This is what I like. I like you for who you are and how you are. But I enjoy watching these type of things. And the thing that I would do with a couple that has that issue, I would make them watch porn together and then recreate it and
Wow.
then watch them either side by side. You pull it up on your phone and you pull yours up on the phone and then compare. You know what I'm saying? Well, when I did this position, you were screaming way louder than he had her scream because it builds that confidence. You know what I'm saying? And then when you know you're being recorded, you perform a certain way. You don't make the ugly faces as much. You're a little bit louder. You're a little more attentive to what's going on in your surroundings, and you tend to enjoy it more because you perform better. So
Ah.
rather than compare yourself, make a movie on your own and then watch your own movie. And then you be like, hey, when I put that leg up, I was knocking you loose. Look how you going crazy. So you take the negative energy out of it, you insert all positivity into it, and then they want to make another movie and do better. Be in competition with yourself. And that's where I come out, empower versus, compare.
Okay, now let me just make sure I heard you right. Now you actually record the couples having sex and compare.
I don't personally record them,
Oh, okay. I was
but
about to say, how deep does this business go? Like, okay.
I'm about to break it down to you though. I do have a business coming in 2021 where it's called Star of the Day. And what I do is I take couples who wants to spice up their relationship and try something new with each other. They get their hair done, they makeup done, they outfit, and I write them a short scene that they both have to master their parts. And then I have my director film their scene, and then they have their own personal sex scene as a real star.
You're about to make so much money.
It's so dope.
Ah.
It's about to
It's
go
so
down.
dope.
But that's dope, because like people are way more voyeuristic than they sometimes like to admit,
100%.
and you've seen some people's lives get ruined by the fact that like, maybe they did some sex tapes in the past or whatever, it got out. Like there was a story I read that like, like some chick that worked at a Taco Bell in like, I don't know, Utah or something. They got her fired because they found that she used to do porn. It's like, yo, you work at Taco Bell, ma. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that
Come on.
crucial. It's not like you're teaching our kids. And you guess what? If you was teaching our kids, I would pay more attention. I'd be at every PTA meeting if I knew it was you.
I would too.
Like if
100%.
Tiana Trump was my kid's music class teacher, I would be a teacher's aide. I'm just saying.
I would most definitely attend. I would do anything I can to be a partner in that classroom.
Just for the culture, for the
Yep.
culture. So let's talk about, people who like to, even take things up a notch. Teamwork makes the dream work. Going from like, watching porn together, breaking out the toys. All right, cool. How do we recruit a third person and bring them into the fray? It's becoming more and more
Mhm.
commonplace. There's a couple popular rappers recently who may or may not have been engaging in said activity. And, how do you even start that conversation without offending the person you're with?
Um, to start that conversation, I'm big on honesty, and for anyone who wants to engage in that conversation, join a poly group and introduce your partner to that poly group and say, "Listen, I just want to know the pros and the cons to it." Because if you hide who you truly are, your relationship is going to fail regardless. Because you're going to be unhappy and then you're going to form resentment. And so I would start by joining a poly group so you can fully understand, unless you're just talking about pure threesome. If we just talking pure threesome, I would fully tell him like, listen, or her, hey, I'm really interested in this. Can we watch either some videos around it? Are you interested in what type of woman would you be interested in to bring in the room? What type of guy? And y'all kind of find that happy medium of what y'all both will accept. Because the only reason a person would not accept it is either it's going to be religion, morals, character, or insecurities.
Got you. Now, the question I asked from a perspective of a guy, and the weird thing of how it works is, guys are very territorial. They get offended. I got offended even though I asked the question. So if a woman, turning putting the shoe on the other foot, if a woman was trying to explain to a dude that, yo, I want to bring somebody in who's not a woman into the, how do you get that to go with the guy? Because once again, we're very territorial.
That's very difficult because again, we territorial. I don't want to see
There's no
her
easy way to
slopping and
like
mopping some other dude in front of
exactly.
me. Or him knocking her back in front of me. I would enjoy that too much at this moment of my life. But that conversation again, honesty goes a long way. And
Mhm.
so if she was to break it down to me like, listen, before I met you, I had these fantasies, and I'm not saying that I will do this without you, but I want to let you know that this is one of my fantasies. I would love if one day you can bring this true for me. She have to secure the fact that she's not going to do it without him, that she don't want nobody else, that she only got eyes and all that other stuff for that particular person. I only love you, but this is a fantasy of mine. And it's probably like the number two or three fantasy in the world for women.
Okay,
Um,
the number two. What's the number one fantasy?
Cuckolding,
God damn. Where like
number one
some
fantasy
some
in the
chick like
world.
smut your chick out, and you just sit there and watch helplessly.
Yes, number one. It's power. It's the fact that a man can purchase another man to please his woman, and then she gets off because he provided her the fantasy. So he's watching her have sex with the dude that he allowed her to do it with, that he purchased, and then after he's done, he can say, "All right, bro, it's time for you to go," and then the dude leave, and then she's happy, and he provided the happiness. It's almost like the same with a dildo making her come. He made her come with the live person versus the dildo, so he has all the power in the world. Number
So
one fantasy in the universe.
what happens in the relationship to where like the guy mentally breaks down and is like, I'll allow it.
Power.
So
Once you get
you
to a
feel
certain
like the
place in
guy
life,
has power when he allows that to happen?
keyword is allow. She can't do it without his permission. The only reason you're getting this orgasm from this man is because I allowed you to. And then he gets to direct the whole thing if he want to. The guy have to ask him, what all can I do? Can I kiss her in the mouth? Can I have do this position? Can she ride me? Can she give me head? If he says no, is no. If he says yes, is yes. He's in control. They're like two puppets. But and he's fulfilling the fantasy. So it goes into unconditional love, right?
Okay.
Conditional love in a relationship is me saying that's your fantasy. You can scratch that. It ain't gonna never happen. Unconditional is you being 100% you, and I'm doing everything in my power to provide you with whatever it is your heart desires, including sexual desires. Because at the end of the day, if you was married and then you got divorced, you're gonna go have sex with another woman. So clearly, your eyes wasn't only for your wife. It's
Mhm.
just you were in a situation to where you had to be faithful because that was your contract. If your contract was we married, but every month we go bring one new person in for me, one new person in for you, that's perfectly fine, and that's your contract. And so it's different for different people,
Yeah.
and that's power. And
The
people
double
love that
standard
power.
on that in my head is so strong. Like I would never be okay with that in my head, like ever. Like, like, and I'm a pretty like, I when I listen to people, I hear that. Well, I can see the benefits of it. I can see no benefit to that as the guy. But at the end of the day, like if you're like wheelchair bound and there's nothing you can do, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I mean, or maybe you've mentally moved on and it's just a job to you at this point, and you're like like
Yeah.
it's like Uber Meets. You're paying somebody to come do it. you
I
know
had
what
that
I
idea too. But it's
mean?
mostly ego thing. With men, is ego and ownership. That's mine. Don't touch it.
Okay.
And we, God forbid, somebody do it better than us. Oh Lord, it's over. Like our whole world is crushed. If she comes back and she can't walk straight, and I'm like, well, you ain't never walked like that for me because somebody else did knock her loose like you never have. And it crushes your ego. It crushes your sexual confidence. And we try to protect that by all means by not allowing you to fulfill any of your fantasies because of our insecurities.
Yeah, I mean, those
Kind of
insecurities,
stuff
man, start the countdown to divorce, man.
every
or,
time.
or a strong breakup. Now, some people, get into their Icarus shit and fly too close to the sun without proper training. Maybe do the threesome without necessarily doing the due knowledge and the due diligence, or maybe say, "Hey, we're gonna go to the swingers club," and then all of a sudden, a bunch of awkward silence in the car on the way back. The relationship is different. What things have you seen with couples that have come to you to where like it just went wrong when they tried to be
Um,
sexually free and liberate themselves?
I've had a couple people, it went terribly wrong because they didn't have that conversation beforehand. They use sex as a healing tool, as in, if we go and add another person, we're going to be so happy that's going to fix all of the other BS that we got going on that has nothing to do with sex. And that's where everybody goes wrong when they utilize sex as a tool to heal something that sex has no control over. And so you're going to add this threesome. It's going to be fun for the night until your insecurities creep in. Until you see, if you're insecure about your body and she sees a woman that's IG model, like tearing your dude up, you go feel some type of way the entire sexual, you know what I'm saying, encounter, because you're dealing with your own insecurities. You already have resentment thinking he might be cheating or he has eyes for somebody else. And then you so happen to walk in a room and an IG model is there knocking him back and he looked
Mhm.
like he having the time of his life, that damages the relationship because she feel like she can't compete. And it's the same for him if he has body insecurities, if he has penis insecurities, if he feels like his wife is too or his woman is too promiscuous and she has eyes for everybody and she may leave at some point. Adding a person in there that may be better than you in all areas, it hurts everything in your relationship because it fixed nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best way to explain that on either side is like, it's like you have a car, like a nice car. You've been driving this car for like a long time and you get into a brand new Kia. Even a
Mm-hmm.
brand new Kia is nice because it's brand new. It may
It's
not
brand
necessarily be
new.
better than the car you got, but you know what I mean? It's new. Smells
It's
different. I ain't
new.
been in here before. What do these buttons do?
Yep.
It's the newness of it all. So like sometimes you're always gonna react different than the norm that you used to. You know what your block look like. You know what I'm saying? You know where everything is. You
Bingo.
know,
But
it
if you go in there together, if y'all go in there like, yo, we about to go in here, test drive this Kia. We go smash the gas. We go whip it. We getting on the E-way. Y'all coming in there together and knowing what y'all gonna do to this car anyway. It's the same with adding a person to your relationship. This is what we're bringing them in for. No emotional attachments. We about to make her or him day go absolutely nuts. They gonna remember us when they leave, and we ain't gonna think nothing about them. It's like a big toy. Sorry,
yeah.
people who are the third wheel, but hey, it's like a big toy. You come in there and y'all play together, knowing the rules, and y'all knock it back.
Now, how do you cut the
Wheels can see
person
Jada.
off? Like, let's just say, like, okay, not necessarily in a swingers club scenario, but like, all right, cool. You invite a third wheel, and this is going on for like, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, a year, whatever. How do you get rid of the third wheel once the novelty is worn off?
Be 100% honest and transparent. This is what you were here for. This is what we agreed to. It is now over. Is this a clean cut? You cannot try to save feelings. You can't try to make them feel good about themselves and be like, it wasn't that bad. And I really like you. Kill all that. Listen, bro, sir, ma'am, you were here to do this. It was great. We're past that point and we moving forward. I'm never gonna leave her. He's never gonna leave me. It was fun. wash your hands and move forward. You have to be cutthroat when it comes to cutting somebody off.
Have you personally had to do that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And the person just said, okay. Was it
Had no
that
choice.
simple?
It is when you block them. If they overstep their boundaries, you got to block. You don't respond to the little text. I miss you. I don't care. That's not what we here for. If I engage with you on that level of showing you emotional attachment, you go
Mhm.
keep coming back. He does miss me. Do you remember when I used to did that one thing and you was in the bathroom? I'm not responding. I can't because then you go feel some type of attachment that says it's okay to continue this engagement. It's not. It's over. It's done. I knew my job. You knew yours. I got a cousin if you want to date him. Like whatever you need to get over it. Let's get this thing moving. So, and it happened to me before.
You
I've been
got
cut
cut
off
off?
like, man, listen,
How did you
crushed
take
my
it?
soul, bro. I wasn't prepared. Because when you think, you thinking like, yo, I'm pretty legit in this area. You know what I'm saying? You
Okay,
got the
well,
confidence.
paint the picture for me, Steven. So, like, was it two girls that cast you away off of Temptation Island, or like, what was the story?
It was a couple, but the girl was the one who did the cut. So it was like it was almost like sharing her. So I
Mhm.
really didn't have to engage with him on any level like that. You know what I'm saying? What up, play 2K, whatever.
Mhm.
But the thing was with her, and it was cool. It's like we're smooth. I ain't gotta argue. I ain't gotta do no debates. I ain't gotta do no dates. I know my job. I know what I'm here for. But when you think you're so good at something and no one ever complains about something, and you got this little ego, and then the universe got to humble you a little bit. It was like, okay, I'm like, yo, y'all want me to come through tonight? He gone, da 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 da. She like, yep, he gone, but you don't have to come over. I said, what's good? What's the problem? What we doing? She like, you're no longer needed, huh? You're no longer needed. All right, what you mean? Like for good? Like, yeah, we're done with you, huh? Yeah,
She
y'all done?
downsized the relationship.
Oh, it's over. Done. Jada in fucking August. It's over. It's done. So it was
Damn.
like, dang, I was really a tool for the moment for y'all to get past or enjoy whatever area in your life that y'all was into. But for me, since I didn't see it coming and I let emotion get in the way, because my ego get in the way, oh, it hit.
How
It
long
hit
did
a
it
little
trouble you?
bigger.
How many days did it, like, sit on your brain?
Man, days like 60. I'm like 2 to 2 months. It sat on there like, man, she really?
Yo,
Man, let me shoot her a
how
text
long
real
were you in
quick.
a relationship?
Man, that one probably about a good year and a half.
Whoa, that
Good year, yeah,
I don't even know what like title you could throw on that, but that's a run. But
yeah,
were you
and
exclusive to that situation?
yeah, 100%. I almost feel like August.
Got
oh,
untangled.
oh yeah, and she cut that loose real fast. And it's so many things as a man. You like you said, you feel that attachment. You feel that possessiveness, like oh, you mine. And then dealing with sex is like your neurotransmitters and your hormones. We are like, yo, I knocked that. We good. It's mine. He can't compete with me. Da da da. And it's not even sexual competition. As I was thinking, she loved that person in a way
Right.
that she would never love me. So it's like I'm really sitting there stuck. Like, damn, I was just a piece of meat, literally. And when they done, they done.
How long did it take you to bounce back and kind of get back out there and start pursuing your own thing?
I was down for about a good 3 months, easy,
Wow.
90 day, easy 90. I was lost, like yo, because you get used to texting, you get used to that loyalty factor. As an I ain't man, I could do elsewhere. It's like why? I'm good with this situation. I got this going. I got the business flowing. We move. You know what I'm saying? You got to a place of comfort and forgot your job. So
Yo, it happens, man. Like, love blinds people, in ways that sometimes you can't even describe or even prepare for, even when you know the territory. I swear, if they ever did a reboot of the movie Boomerang, that's the plot. Because
that's
that's
it right there.
that's different. Because that is so 2020 something. You know what I'm saying? That
Hmm.
scenario, because the world is different. Like I was watching an old movie and stuff like that where somebody slipped somebody's number, and and it was pre-cell phone, right? So it was just like the way you can move now with so instant access, easy gratification. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how people had double lives back in the day. Like my dad, like has children that are almost my age that didn't live with us, and is like, yo, how
Yeah.
did you pull that off? What phone number were you giving these people? You
I
know what I mean?
swear. We had house phones. Like, how did you manage to do this, bro? Tell me, teach me, sir. Like how? Man, I don't get it. It's easy now.
Yeah,
We have
it's
access
easy
to
now.
so many things,
And an
man.
argument that I always bring up is like, hey, you be complaining about these dudes, but listen, if you lined up every woman and every man, like, like face to face across the country, guess what there's gonna be less of? Men. So, sometimes dudes gotta like, spread it around and like, sister wife up. Like I knew you was mentioning the poly thing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I know a dude who's in a poly situation. One of the happiest people I know.
Oh,
Like his
yeah.
The
glow is
two happiest
different.
people I know is probably.
Yo, his glow is different. You know what I mean? And I thought you would be stressed out like dealing with two women that's in the same, under the same roof, but it's like they're a team and they
The
make it
pros are
work.
so high.
You
The
said what?
pros are the pros are so high versus the cons of poly.
Yeah.
It's so high.
I be trying to
Like
explain to
poly is
people.
supposed to be awesome.
Yeah, I be trying to explain to people, hey, this is what they used to do in the Bible. Cats want to pick and choose what they want to use. I mean,
Yep.
myself included, but
Me too.
it is what it is. Whatever seals the deal, right? Yo,
Yep.
Steve,
That
man,
makes
you
you happy.
alive, dude. What city you in?
Right now I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. Duval.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Yo, Duval. Like, Duval is like the Brooklyn of Florida. Like
Yep.
anytime if you ever yell, yo, it's Florida in the house, Duval, there's always somebody from Duval. How is the dating scene in Florida? Because like, when COVID first popped off, Florida was still wide open. I was kind of doing what y'all want to do. You know,
They still do.
I feel like I still got back page, what what's going on in Florida right now, far as like people connecting and balancing this whole COVID thing.
A lot of things I've noticed now, everything is virtual. Like Duval is heavy on the COVID right now. Florida's real heavy on COVID in certain areas. A lot of people that hit me up or connect with me do it virtual classes, virtual sessions,
Okay.
virtual one-on-ones. Everything is freaking virtual right now. Um, yeah, virtual.
This is definitely a counselor's time. This is a hustler's time because even people, my acting coach, she used to come to my house. Now we do everything virtual, right? So like this is such a opportunity for you to be able to help people all across the country, all around the world, actually,
Yeah.
because of the ability to do things virtually. Now, I want to ask you a couple more questions before we roll, and I definitely want you to give your information so people could plug in with you because I feel like your information can help a lot of folks. Um, if you had to 1, 2, 3 it, right? What are the
Okay.
first, what are 3 things you recommend a couple do to maintain the spice in the relationship?
Oh,
Number one is date. Date without the intentions of getting sex at the end of the night. Date with the intentions of falling in love over and over again. I call it the rated red 24. If you have 24 hours, this is your last 24 hours, and your only task was to make your spouse, your woman, your man fall in love with you all over again, what would you do within that 24 hours? Practice that every single day. Um, and I call it dating. Number two, throat Thursday and taste me Tuesday. If you do not create days where you can get out of your comfort zone and build something new and try something new, your relationship become complacent and boring. Taste Me Tuesday is not you're gonna do the same oral pleasures, cunnilingus every single Tuesday, the same positions, the same place, the same time. Taste Me Tuesday is for you to experience new things with your partner. Do you still like this? What else do you like? How about we did it this way? You want to swing from the ceiling fan? Let's do it that way. It is a day that's dedicated to her, to where you're committed to only pleasing her. And when it comes to great sex, you have to communicate, you have to sacrifice, you have to alter your mindset, you have to prep, you have to foreplay. So Taste Me Tuesday turns into you making dinner, you making sure the laundry is done, you making sure the house is clean, you give her a massage if need be, you're prepping her for the tasting of Tuesday. So the whole day is dedicated to her, not just sexually, but you're catering to her mind, her spirit, and her physically. And then, of course, Thursday, Throat Me Thursday is the same thing. We may not require as much as Taste Me Tuesday. I just want you to get in the bedroom and show me what you're gonna do with your throat, baby. But I think it's very important.
Mm.
Having those days where you step outside of your comfort zone, you be your new self and you perform. 3 is role playing. Always be your middle name. My name's Steven, middle name is Marcellus. Marcellus is polar opposite to Steven. And so if someone falls in love with Steven, I need to help you not be born or help Steven grow. How can Steven grow? I can be Marcellus. If I personally make Marcellus different than Steven, you have a new person to fall in love with. Because I know, well, Steven would sit here and do this. Steven will rub your feet. Steven would take you on a dinner date. Marcellus is going to be that alternate person. I'm not taking you on a dinner date. I'm gonna make a picnic in the backyard with some roses leading to the path, and then we go have sex while the sun goes down. All right, Steven, I never do that. Correct. Marcellus will. It's that form of role playing. Even if a woman want me to be ghost on power, I'm him. You want me to be anybody. That you have to have that alter ego to provide that spice, that natural spice. And role playing is not just you changing who you are, but taking advantage of time. And so when she goes out to the grocery store, wait till she 10, 20 minutes down the road and then text her something that you want to do to her. Text her you stroking it, text her something that makes her desire you, but she can't immediately come back to you.
Word. Yo, a lot of people don't know the difference between love and sex. Can you
Yes.
break that down real quick?
Love is this is how I put it. For Stephen and what I teach, love and sex are 100%, 100%. I believe that they are the same. I could have gave you a political answer, like breaking them both down, but love and sex to me are the same because the foundation is the same. What both requires to be successful is the same. If you want a relationship filled with love, you have to listen, you have to be honest, you have to be loyal, you have to be dedicated, you have to be mindful, you have to have a strategy, you have to be sensitive, you have to be attentive. Everything that I just named to create great love is the same things you need to have great sex. I have to be attentive. I can't sex you the way that I desire to sex you. I have to sex you how you require. I have to listen to you. I have to be mindful. I have to treat you differently than every woman in the past because you're different than them. I have to love you the same way that I sex you. And that means I'm doing it unconditionally, taking myself out of it and only putting you into it. So for me, I teach people that they're one and the same.
Okay. Now, lastly, we
Yes,
talked
sir.
about people who are in relationships, who are coupled up and whatnot. But
Uh-huh.
then you got the dark side. Maybe some people who are widowers, maybe been in a long-term relationship, been doing things the same way for a long time. They don't know how to get back out there. What do you say to those people who are trying to get back on the horse and get back into the mix of things?
The first thing I'll tell them is to make sure that they're healed from their past. Forgive yourself for whatever you haven't forgiven yourself for, and forgive the person, unless they're passed away. Forgive the person for whatever pain that you're holding on to, so you can set yourself free. Number two, start dating yourself. Take yourself to everywhere that you want your ideal man or woman to take you. Date you in a way that you want to be dated. So when you ask these things from another person, you very comfortable asking because you take yourself to these places regardless. I can't ask for a 5-star restaurant if I don't already go to one.
Right.
That'd be unfair. If I take myself to one, I have every right to ask for one. After you date yourself, write down steps, your ideal relationship. Write down your ideal. This is what it will be. This is what we will do on the regular. This is where we will live. Even though it might not be identical to what you're going to receive, but at least you have an idea of what you want. Then put yourself out there. You already rebuild your confidence. You already put yourself in a nice positive space. Now start to engage. If you don't engage, nobody know you exist.
Bong bong, man. Yo, you broke so many things down in such a short span of time, man. Bro, Stephen Smith, you the truth. If
Thank
people
you,
want to
sir.
follow you on IG, also maybe check out your website so they can seek your wisdom,
Yes, sir.
your skills. Where can they go, bro?
They can go to ratedredsworld.com. And my IG is ratedred_brand. Rated Red_brand. I have another IG which is rated Red_sexology, but I'm building my brand right now, so I most definitely will utilize the brand. And I got a new book that just came out too.
Tell
It's
us
coming out
about the
tomorrow.
book, man.
Oh, my book is called Room 918: Saving Love One Orgasm at a Time. And so I can't tell you all the way in detail what the book is about, but it's a married couple, they're newlyweds, and it's 1 week to their anniversary. And they are so madly in love. But Marcellus, who's the main male character, women from his past tend to show up at the wildest times. And 1 week towards their anniversary is the day 3 of them have reappeared in his city. And now he's faced with the controversy of balancing past lust, and current love. And so it's a very interesting, sexy book, man.
Yo, my manager read like the teaser of the book that you gave her, right? Like, yo, and like the book's so strong. I think you gave her like 80 pages, and and she still wanted more. Like, man,
Yeah.
so like if people want to find the book, where can they go to get that as well?
Right now, the book is on ratedredsworld.com, which is my website, and tomorrow it will be on Amazon Prime.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
Steven Smith is saving relationships one orgasm at a time. Thank you so much for pulling up on us, bro.
I appreciate y'all for having me, man. Really do.
And we got to do this again, so.
Yes, sir.
All right. Looking forward to it, man. God bless, man.